Do you know how frustrating it is to do that? You don't. Imagine talking to some people for 10 minutes without any sound. Yeah, it's embarrassing, but you know, I've grown an immensely thick skin to that now. I'm going to go back over everything I just said because it was really important, but I'll do it quickly. Saturday, per Zoom. Saturday morning, 8 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock California time, sometime in the afternoon in Europe. I am going to do regular per Zoom stuff for the first hour, and it's going to be good because we're going to go over all of the things you've said you want to do. And then at 9 o'clock, on the dot at 9 o'clock, I am going to do what I've been given permission to do by a certain company, and that is tell you about a certain product that I may or may not have in my possession. And I've been told I can't record it, and I can't have that get out. So it's truly private thing. So if you want to know what the private thing is, and I think you are going to want to know, 9 o'clock Saturday morning, okay? And if you're not a member of Patreon and that doesn't entice you to be, well, there you go. You're not interested in what I've got to show. All right, guys, I'm sorry I wasted your time there. I'm going to run right back through the hellos because I refuse to do this and not say hello to people. Heck, it's just now on time. You could pretend that I didn't do that first bit. I'll cut it out of the video too. Except I just said it, so now you'll know it was in there. Okay, well, I said hi to Carlos and congratulated him on being first in the door tonight. And then, yep, Chris is here. Goche's here from Transylvania or Macedonia or a place like that, isn't it? You'll have to refresh my memory. No, Croatia, I think. Gilles, good evening. David's here, and Carlos's spring has sprung where he's from, up in Minnesota. That's saying something. That was a horrible winter by the looks of it. And Bill, I was gushing over how delighted I am to see that you are back in the saddle with the strength to type a hello. That's good news. I didn't think I ever would be after my go around with that. Anyway, glad to have you. Glad to have you. And Phil's here. Greetings. And Arthur. Art, I got your message. I responded to it, and the answer is yes and yes. I forgot what the questions were, but I remember saying yes and yes. It was late last night. Jeff's here. Excellent. Seabell's here from Trinidad, where it is flooding. Well, it serves you right for living in such a dump of a place. I would love to go to Trinidad. Not as much as I'd like to go to New Zealand. There must be somebody here from New Zealand this evening. There usually is. Chris and Carlos are having a chit-chat, which is good, talking about Mitutoyo, which is a good thing to talk about right here. David Brown, 41 degrees in Winthrop, Maine. Is that hot or cold for Winthrop, Maine? It sounds blighty cold. Horrible. Now, you still can't hear me, Chris. Oh, this is from before. Okay, all right. Because if you still can't hear me, I'm going home. In fact, I'm already home. But can you hear me now? Tell me you can hear me. This would be there's 150 messages saying I had no audio. But I hadn't got that far, had I? Can you hear me now? Nobody says that you can, and yeah, I'm just waiting for here. If somebody says they can hear me, I'll keep going, because if that didn't fix it, I don't know what in the heck is gonna fix it, because yeah, you can hear me. Okay, Michelle, thanks very much. Sorry about that. I swear, you would think I was the most incompetent nincompoop on the face of the planet because of this thing. I don't know why I let it eat my lunch like it does, but there you go. Paul Daly's here. Welcome. I'm going to ignore all the comments about the no sound because they were getting progressively louder as I went through them. Very shouty there at the end. I don't blame you, but you can't shout loud enough for me to hear it where I am because I'm in Alabama by myself. Okay, so no sound, no sound, no sound, no sound. And macro is what we're talking about tonight. Secret lenses was what we talked about first. Are you going to come? Are you part of Patreon? Do you want to know what it is? I'm going to tell you quite a lot about it. Pretty much the review stuff. Just can't record it. Can't be on tape. There you go. And there's something else I want to tell you about that is absolutely important because it's nothing. It's just a practice website that I put together with a little bit of help from Curly Toes. Not much. Had a lot of teaching I had to do with him. But anyway, it's a website that is going to serve a very important function in the macro photography community one day. That day isn't today. Today, we're still in what's called alpha, which apparently is a Greek thing that happens before you go into beta, which is also a Greek thing, which is good. Keeps it all in the family. So alpha means it's rubbish right now, but that's overstating the case. It's not finished yet. I've been working at it night and day, or some of the night and not much of the day. Curly Toes has been working on it night and day for months, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's called Macro Rails. I was going to have it come flashing up on the screen, but I forgot. Macro Rails, MACRORAILS, all one word, .com. Do you want me to do a visual aid? I'll do a visual aid. Just chat amongst yourselves because this takes effort here. I should have done this for all my talking at the beginning, shouldn't I? There. Except I forgot the .com. I'll put the .com on the end. Macrorails.com. If I talk about some stuff this evening that you find interesting, particularly if it relates to equipment that might otherwise be hard for you to find, that's where you would go find it. It is it's a macro provisioning thing. It's a website where we do the work and you just come and have fun. And it will explain itself to you as you go along. And there's going to be a lot of things over there eventually when we get it all finished. But we wanted to give it a soft start, so I'm only mentioning it to you folks. And yeah, by all means, check it out and leave us a word. What do you think? Don't like the colors? Yeah, tell us. Or tell Curly Toes. Don't like the words? Don't tell me. Don't tell me, because I made those words up. All right, so just for you to go probe around in at some point. Be great if you would, and let us know what you think. Okay, so yeah, Larry, you hit the nail on the head. Off to a great start to the week. No sound. Actually, there's a lot of people would think that would be a pretty good start for a week for me if there was no sound. But yeah, probably not at a live event. There you go. Anyway, yeah, nobody knew what I was talking about because you don't read lips, and you probably couldn't read lips with mine because they're English, and they just flop around. So still very much with the technical stuff here at the beginning, blah, blah, blah. And I was talking, oh, Phil can read lips. He knew I was talking about the secret lens. What makes you think it's a lens? That's what I want to know. Did you look? Did you peek? I hope not. Macro for the deal. Oh, for the deaf. Sorry. And blind. Or I can't read. So there you go. Yeah, macro for the deaf. I just thought it would be nice if it was quieter than I usually am, because I can be a bit annoying. No sound. No sound. No audio, somebody said loudly. Chris figured out we're talking about the new lens. He's got permission, and now he's spilling all the secrets. No, I didn't. Didn't do that. Didn't spill the secrets, not yet. Karen Neville is here. Read lips, then transcribe. You know what? You probably could have asked ChatGPT to say, hey, go over there and listen to what this man's saying without microphone and give us the transcript. They'd probably have done it in about a second. Did anybody do that? I bet you didn't. All right, so the sound came back at some point. Let's get to that part, shall we? A Greek tragedy, yes. Okay. Does anybody have his phone number? I think you all do, don't you? From technical issues. And let's just jump to the end of that. Laura texted me. Oh, my phone. It's over there. You want to know why it's over there? Because that's where I'm going to be in a minute. But I'm not there yet. There you go. That's why there was no sound. It was because I was doing the... Don't worry about it. It was complicated. Let me see. Diffusion material. Diffusion material has been measured, and it has been cut, and it has been split up into little piles. It has not been put in envelopes because I haven't bought them yet. I haven't been out of the house to get them, but I am getting them. And I did find my stamps. I don't use many stamps, but I have enough for this distribution thing. When I run out of stamps, that's it. But I don't think I will. This is a lot of stamps. So that stuff will be coming. Now, there's a bit of a problem with addresses, because I seem to recall about 30 people saying, yes, I'd like some diffusion material, yet my list of addresses only has 3 people on it, which makes me think that 27 of you used invisible ink, or I put them somewhere and I can't find them. I know I have them. I have them on bits of paper. But I'll tell you what, would not be a bad idea for you to just shoot me an email or a message again. Not if you did it yesterday on Patreon. I've got those ones. But anybody else, doesn't hurt to do it twice. You won't get 2 packets of paper though. Just saying. And as soon as you do that, I'll find all the addresses. But anyway, I'm going to try to get it out as soon as live stream's over on Thursday. If I do it with sound, we'll see. We'll see. I might be in a bad mood on Thursday. All right. So I didn't tell anybody about the secret, and yeah, that's it. The secret is still a secret. It will still be mostly a secret on Saturday, but those who want to know, you know where to be. Let me see what I want to talk to you about tonight, and I'm going to give you this is the choice. I was doing some photography. I was using a new lens that I was testing, and realized that it wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to fit. I wasn't going to be able to do what I wanted to do on my regular platform. But I don't have any time to fiddle around and redo the platform. So what I did was I just went over there and made it up as I went along. And in the process, came up with some nifty ideas that I hadn't thought of before. So that is one option, is we can go over there and I will show you the thrown together platform for an entirely different kind of lens, not a lens you will have ever seen before, and how I set up a rig to use it, and maybe even show you some of the pictures that I got with it. So that's one option. The other option is I also discovered a very cool material that I didn't know I had. It's a spool of titanium wire. I knew I had a bit of this somewhere, but this has a very strange consistency. It feels almost like it has scales on it. Not scales, ridges. But I thought, you know what, that would be fantastic for positioning tiny insect limbs that are reluctant to spread. Usually fly legs do that. You know how fly legs all scrunch up when they pass away? And they're very hard to get open without pulling them off the body. This is the way you do it, or this is the way I do it, and it's similar to how I do weevils, but weevils are easy because they've got big jointy legs. Flies are not. And this is what I use for flies, or wire is what I use, but this is way better than what I normally use. So you've got to vote. Everybody's got to vote. If you want me to show you the rig, we'll do that. If you want me to show you how to wire open a fly's legs, we'll do that. Sounds a bit weird actually, doesn't it? But if we do that, if we do one or the other, we'll do the other one later in the week, and I'll probably end up doing them both to to anybody who wants to see. But that is a neat trick. If you photograph a lot of flies, I love photographing Diptera. I've been doing flies this afternoon, and getting their legs in kind of natural, dangly, flying shape is hard to do without a trick like this. So, yes, there it is. Yes, you can hear me. Everybody's happy. Larry's crying. Larry, it's okay. It's still me. I think it's tears of relief. Oh, just rub it in, guys. Edmonton, Alberta, David F. has joined us. Welcome, David. And his wife does it to him all the time. I understand. All right. Imagine watching somebody talk for 10 minutes with no sound. I am utterly amazed that there's anybody still here. I mean, it would have to be a very interesting situation. Yeah. Thank you for your patience. I know you're just used to me being a complete technical idiot when it comes to this stuff. I'm really not, though. Paul, pays to dial in late. Sounds fine. There you go. By the way, Paul dropped in on a call that I had over the weekend. I was just chatting with, I can't remember if it was my brothers or it was my brother. I do that every Sunday. I catch up with my peeps, and because I like to use an open room for most of my meetings on Zoom, so it's easy for people to find it, every now and again somebody will be on the computer and they'll notice that I started a meeting. And naturally enough, seeing as I do this all the time, they'll think, oh, I must have missed an announcement and there's something interesting happening. And no, it wasn't. It was just me chatting with my brothers. But Paul dropped by and said hi, which was fantastic. I'm absolutely delighted. My brother had met him from the music thing just a week or so before, or had seen him, so it was all good. So don't worry about it. If you do that and you pop in and I'm having a chat with somebody, by all means say hi. That's fine. We don't stand on ceremony around here. If I'm having a secret conversation, we'll go somewhere private. There you go. That's that then. So we were getting ready to either go over yonder or stay here and play around with fly legs. So do tell me. John Lamb's here and Paul is here, also from Minnesota. And what time, Andrew says? Central? Yes, Central. Always Central. It's always Central time, because that's always where I live. If I move, we'll change it. But for now, it's just Central, which is 6 o'clock in California, 7 o'clock in Colorado, 8 o'clock here, 9 o'clock in New York. There you go. 6 hours ahead in London, and the following week in Australia. So there you go. Now you know. That's all the times. That's all the times I know. Righty, so let's see, what have we got going on? Well, Karen, I heard it and I enjoyed it. It wasn't completely wasted voice. I mean, I laughed at some of my jokes, which I didn't repeat because of the shouty comments, but there you go. Robert Stowrost is here. Greetings, Robert. It's good to have you here. I didn't think you were going to come for some reason. I don't know why I thought that. All right, so I'm going to run out of time if I don't get a move on. I can't say hi to everybody all night and then not get anything done. Macedonia, I was right. Did I not say that? No, I said Transylvania. Same difference, very close. And Phil is here. I was talking about Secret Lens, yes. And Bud is here. Bud, thank you for doing what you do. Amy, thank you for doing what you do. 2 of our moderators. In fact, the only 2 of our moderators. We only need 2 because we don't have a rowdy crowd on Tuesdays. Like the Thursday crowd gets pretty rambunctious. There you go. Massive flooding on the Mississippi River. How do you know that, Andrew? You don't live on the Mississippi, do you? Do you? Oh yeah, I suppose it does start way up there in the north, doesn't it? Brilliant. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Stay safe. And Chris is here. Greetings. Gary. Gary, I got your request for paper, so I've got your address even. Or do I? No, you're the one who didn't give me an address. You have to give me your address. And Allan is here. Allan Rechtenwald. Greetings, my friend. Haven't seen Allan in forever. And Chicago says hi. Proud liberal. Welcome. I think I'm caught up pretty much. Macro everything around me. Don't beat yourself up about the tech. Says macro everything around me, but that's because he's a nice guy. You see, he would say that even if he was cursing me under his breath. Yeah, I'm glad I can do what little I do. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, great. Okay, so I haven't seen any votes, so I'm just going to have a vote on what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to go over there because it's kind of interesting. Now, rig. What have you been using to shoot the 50X stuff, says Phil A. I'll tell you on Saturday. And Joseph said, rig. The rig. Wire open a fly's leg, says Bud Parrott. And I knew Bud would say that because Bud is into wiring legs. It's a doctor-y thing, I think. I'll tell you what, if nobody else votes for that, I'll show you how to do that in a private call, Bud. You've earned it. Robbie, I tried to get in touch with you the other day and you want me to wire open a bug's leg. So I'll tell you what, I might stick around after the end of this and do that. But for now, we're going to go over yonder. Now, I don't know which camera to use because I don't know if any of them are going to work. Here's one of them. But you can't hear me talk on that one, I don't think. Oh, maybe you still can. And the other one is kind of movable, but it has a microphone. Should we use that one? Let's do that. Let's use that one for now. So I don't know if you can even see me, but I'm going to try turning this light on. You know, if I went over there and looked at the monitor, I could see my hand wave. Yes, I see my hand wave. Okay, so here's what I want to talk to you about. And this is going to be one of those things that if I've done something technically wrong here, I won't know about it till afterwards. So just leave quietly and it'll be okay. So yeah. This is what caused my problem. Was I have this lens that is it's too big and it's too heavy and it's too unwieldy for anything that I had to mount it. I built some stuff. I made a you might recognize this. This is that sublimation printer thing that I bought. And can you hear me? I'm going to walk back over and somebody tell me if you can hear me. I just want to look at the comments. Can you hear me when I'm over there? Just say yes. A lot of people want fly legs, but Jan wants the rig. Can you hear me though? Just somebody say yes before I go back over there. I don't want to go back over there and talk to myself. Audio is perfect. I'm going back over. This won't take long. So here's the deal. Then everything I tried was a disappointment. This thing, which I've made out of parts that came off that printer, seemed like a really promising thing. It's about the right size, and I rigged up a way to pinch it tightly closed and put a quick release plate on it, and it almost worked, but there's too much padding in it and it caused the lens to sag up and down. I mounted the camera and the lens on a homemade tripod mount, which I bolted to this table, and it was great. It held the camera perfectly still and upright, but it put an awful lot of strain on the flange because I couldn't relieve all of that weight. What I finally decided to do, And this was after I ran it by Rick, and he gave me a couple of ideas. I built this sled here, which is nothing but a couple of pieces of pine that I cut a 45-degree angle on the inside edge, and then glued them together and screwed them onto a heavy board. It makes the perfect slot for the lens to fall into, and I lined the whole thing with a rubberized material, like it's something you would line a tool drawer with. And it actually holds the lens very still and supports the weight of the camera. I had been shooting full frame with this the whole time, and it works really well, even though this lens is really heavy. I'll tell you more about the lens at the weekend. The tape is not holding it together; it's covering stuff up, and the bit at the front is an interesting device or gadget. I'm not exactly sure what they're meant for, but I found it somewhere, probably at a thrift shop, and bought it. It opens up, and it just happened to close almost the right size for the front of the lens. I used some abrasives and cleaned it out till it was perfectly round, and would fit around it, and just hammered it into a piece of wood, and Bob's your uncle. And that kind of takes the weight off the front of the thing. But what I wanted to show you was, or what I wanted to explain, and I've done this in an article over on Macro Rails. There's a learning path over there that is about your home studio, about building and improving and modifying a home studio. And it's got all kinds of different guides inside that learning path, and I'll be adding to that as time goes by. But this one really addresses what do you do when you need to change your rig and you don't have a clear idea what you want to do, or how you're going to do it, but you know what you want to be able to do with it. So I knew I needed the lens, the optical center of the lens, to be at a height that I could get to with a specimen mover, which I didn't have. I knew I needed to focus that because I'm taking pictures at 50 times magnification. I knew that the system had to be rock solid. It couldn't be even a tiny bit vibratory, or I'd not get any pictures. And probably most important of all was that I needed to be able to subtly change the position of the subject. When you're shooting at 50x, you have to be able to control very, very fine movements indeed. So what I came up with was this, which is just, it's the bare minimum that I needed to be able to get these shots. And then I can take all this down and put my regular rig back up. This sled was nothing to make. Took just a few minutes, and then I had to let the paint dry overnight. But that was about it. This didn't take any time at all. It's all made of scrap pieces, bits of metal that were left over from other projects. But it has some incredibly interesting functions. The rotational table still works and rotates, but what it actually does is act more like a lateral goniometer, and it turns in either direction, so you can get an interesting different perspective. But this front bracket also rotates, so you can rotate them counter to one another to move the subject across the frame. I took out the up and down because, why did I do that? I didn't need it. Oh, I know why, because I put this on. I was looking at the wrong part of the device. This is just a cheap positioning system off a microscope, whatchamacallit. And yeah, it's from Amscope, I think. It's really very inexpensive, but it has plenty of up and down movement like that, very smooth, and plenty of side to side like so. In fact, it's about the perfect size for something like this. And it's cheap. I just had to drill a couple of holes in it to bolt it to this bracket. And then you've got like what, 7 degrees of freedom in a manual positioning system that really works well. And when I'm not moving it, it holds dead still, and that's what I use to stack. That's what I move, is the subject. So, you know, the whole thing took me 2 hours to think up and cut the wood and get it painted. And in the process, I came up with a couple of really cool ideas. If you have a rail, this rail, a macro, I mean a Wii macro rail, or an MJKZZ, anything like that, and you want to position it on a surface, but it's temporary and you don't want to mount brackets and quick release clamps, just take a couple of wood screws. I do hope you can see this. I'll maybe position the camera a little bit better. Maybe that'll do it. I took a couple of nice quality wood screws and carefully marked them, drilled them most of the way in, and you'll hopefully be able to see that just the edge of the screw catches the dovetail of the rail, and I've got 2 pairs of screws, front and back, and it absolutely holds the thing jammed down to the table in a perfectly straight line. Very cool trick. I'd never thought of doing that, but I can unscrew those, put a little bit of filler in there, and it would be like nothing ever happened. That's really, I guess what I was trying to do with this is show you that there's nothing to be scared of if you have to make a radical change to your rig. If you just think about what it is you're trying to accomplish and what's important and what's not. For example, one thing that I had to change was the direction that the rig was pointing. Now it's pointing back into the room and it's getting the sunlight from the front. Is that a big deal? Well, no, it's not a big deal. I shoot mostly at night, and if it was a big deal, I'd bring my backdrop up to the other side. But knowing what is important and what isn't will really help. And you can see that having multiple holes drilled in your surface to accept light poles, this is where it really helps when you have to make a switcheroo like this. And if you're wondering why I turned the thing around backwards, it was really because there wasn't enough room on that end to do this, and I couldn't get in there because I had to actually cut the edge off the table with a chisel to get it absolutely flat with the lens. But anyway, it works, and for 50 times magnification, you want something that is rock solid. This is rock solid, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun, but I am very, very ready to get it back to the way it was. I can't tell you what I was just about to say about the lens, so just forget I even said that. Yeah, let's head back over there, shall we? Oh my goodness. That's a long walk. That's did the sound go out while I was there? I don't know if you could see any of that or not, guys. I hope so. You saw MF12s, whoever said that. Yes, these are still my original MF12s plus one replacement. I am patiently waiting for Joseph to tell me where I can find the xenon tubes for these things, plus the new batteries, plus the capacitors, so that I can fix them all up, because I've got some dead ones. So yeah, and once I do that, I'll do a video of it. I met with Stuart Wood for a follow-up conversation last week on Thursday, or was it Wednesday? Yeah, it was one of those two. And I have not had a chance as of yet to edit the video, but I'm going to do that. In fact, that's my next priority. I'll do that tomorrow and get it out right away. It was a very interesting conversation, not at all like it was the first time, because I guess we're both more comfortable with one another, and there are a few sweary words in there. Not terribly bad ones, but I think bad enough to probably get me in trouble with YouTube, so I don't know what I'll do about that. Probably just bleep them out. I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get there. Let me see if you could hear me. Yes, yes, yes. There was sound. Okay. Well, at least you heard. Yeah, there is a large time delay. There's a time delay between me doing anything and it showing up on the screen here too. I'm used to that. I just don't look at the screen. All right. Winona. I am oh, you're talking to somebody else. Okay, good. I was thinking, oh dear, I missed the point here entirely. So let me see. Who have I not said hi to? I haven't said hi to Borderland Peppers. Welcome. How are you, my friend? Been a while. And Paul Daly, yes. Bruce, voice and video, good. Down all the way down under. How's everything going, Bruce? Bees come back yet? Be patient. They will, I hope. And David, all right. We're going to have time to do some legs now, I think. Does anyone know where to buy additional individual Godox MP12 flash units? Yeah, I'll tell you what you must do. I'm sure somebody's already answered this. First of all, buy Flashpoint. It's Godox made, Flashpoint branded, Adorama's brand. Godox does not honor warranties. So if you buy a Godox flash from anywhere other than a B&H or an Adorama, there's a chance you'll end up like I would with a broken flash and no warranty. So yeah, be very careful where you buy it from. Flashpoint, you're going to be 100% covered every time. I've never had a Flashpoint issue that Adorama didn't deal with, and they're a bit cheaper. $10 or something cheaper. That's what I will be getting when I replace these, which I have to do sometime soon. I mean, can you believe they've been going 2 years non-stop every day, and most of them are still doing fine. They're starting to wear out a little bit earlier, but it's hardly noticeable. Very good. So with that out of the way, let me see. You guys are just chatting amongst yourselves, which is what I would do if I was talking to myself as well. So don't worry about it. Everybody agrees with the Flashpoint thing. They are identical, same exact things. And yeah, and they really are, honestly, seriously, the best macro flashes that you can get for the money. You look at the price tag of, $460 for a set of 4 of them and think, holy moly, that's a lot of money. Look at the price tag on a single Nikon flash, and yeah, it's not that bad when you get 4. And all you're doing is you're spreading that guide number out all over creation to get the light just exactly where you want it. I should show some pictures while I'm talking about stuff like that. Do you want to see some more of these 50x pictures? Because I've never seen anything quite like it. Somebody asked me, why don't you do more super high magnification stuff? Well, I don't do it because my pictures are so bad at 50x or 35 or 63. Whoever thought of 63 being a good magnification to have? But I'm gonna show you this picture here. It's a tiger beetle. I've just fallen in love with tiger beetles. I really have. I just can't get enough of the things. And this is the skin, or the integument, I guess, of a tiger beetle between its eyeballs. Those colors have not been tweaked in any way. The hairs have been retouched in Zerine. But those are the actual colors that I got with this lens. And they're just amazing, and you can see the fine pitted detail in the exoskeleton. The thing on the right running up and down is actually a suture line. These are 2 different plates of the skeleton, and this is where they come together. and the detail is just unbelievable given the high magnification. And what I've got some really pretty bad photographs too, because I don't do a lot of 50x work. But by and large, it's the lens I'm using has proved to be incredibly forgiving, and it has really opened up the whole world of super high magnification stuff wide open. And the question that is on everybody's lips, I'm sure, is, well, how much does this thing cost? I have no earthly idea. They haven't told me, and your guess would be as good as mine. When I tell you about it on Saturday, I think you'll have a better idea. I don't think it's going to be a paltry sum. I really don't, because anything that can make me turn out good pictures at 50 times magnification, they've got something going on. Yeah, that reminds me, actually, the temporary thing you see there for this lens, that is only one configuration. This lens can be reconfigured in different ways, and that's all I'm going to say. But it makes the mounting a real issue. You really need to think about how you're going to mount each of the possible configurations. But I've worked that out. I've got an idea that I'm going to be trying to come up with a prototype for, and we'll see if that works or is helpful. Boy, I'd better get a move on. Shall I talk while I do a little bit of leg positioning? Yeah, I've got 15 minutes. Now, I still do not have parfocality with the camera, which is a bit of a disappointment, really, considering how much work, oh dearie me, how much work and how much time and how much cost has been sunk into this project by so many people. But it is what it is, and we'll make do. I can still show you the important stuff without necessarily having to be looking through the scope all the time. I hope you can hear me. My microphone's up to full anyway. Look what I found at the thrift shop. It's a little aeroplane. I think it might be a kamikaze plane. Not sure. But see that propeller? This is amazing. This is my small rig. What's it called? RM75, my light thing that I use. Look at the propeller. How about that? You put this on your dashboard in your car, and it distracts you while you're supposed to be driving. You're amazed by this engine spinning. It actually has a solar-powered engine that works. I just haven't been able to get enough of this thing. So I'm going to put it in my car. Probably have a car accident if I do that. But okay, so to do this, you can do it with anything you want that's got legs. But look, I've got a bottle full of hymenopterans that you can't see because I haven't got the thingamajig switched over, and I've got far fewer flies, but they're more interesting. I think there's a robber fly in here, and where's my scope thing? There it is. Yeah, so we've got some hymenoptera here. We've got all kinds of things. There's one of those cockroach killers, lots of yellow jackets. There's a velvet ant in here, and agapostemon bees. This is all the stuff that Robbie sent me, and this is just the hymenopteran jar. I'm afraid the tiger beetle jar is starting to look a bit on the running out side. I need to talk to you, Robbie, about that. I don't see how you could have 2 little bottles of insects that had 6 tiger beetles in them when I only see 1 tiger beetle every 2 years. I don't suppose there are any more of them still wandering about up there that you didn't catch, are there? I'll make it worth your while. There's these. These are just leftovers. This is what I got too tired to sort at the end. This is for me, this is a beautiful catch. There's some spiders in there, mosquitoes, midges, beetles. There's a weevil, dead center. Little round grey weevil. Isn't that purdy right there? Pretty sure that's a weevil. Yeah, it is. How about that? I didn't even notice that. And then I can't find the flies. What's this? Oh, this is Coleoptera. You have a lot of click beetles in Canada, apparently. It must be a very noisy place. I somehow have also got some non-Coleoptera in here. I love these green beetles that change colour, like dogbane beetles as you turn them. Beautiful. They're a bit boring to photograph, but they'll be good under high magnification. So this must be the Diptera. Yeah, it is. It's also got grasshoppers and let me see what else is in here. Yeah, we can find something in here. So all I do is I do this part of the leg procedure with the thing wet. It's more forgiving when it's wet. So what I'm going to do, I'll leave that there so you've got something to look at. I'm going to take a piece of wire and get it ready, and that's important because you've got to have the wire ready to go. You'll only have one crack at this. So if you can find some titanium wire, I don't know what it is, but it's the grip. Well, I do know what it is. It's the grippiness of the surface of the wire. I guess you could just take regular steel wire or canthal or something like that and rough it up with sandpaper, and it would probably work just as well. But this has some kind of a texturing on it. We could look at it under the microscope, come to think of it, and see what it is. So let's do that. Switch back over. Yeah, it's a bit bright though, isn't it? So let's de-brighten it. I can't see anything. You know what? I'll close down the aperture a little bit. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get a sharp enough picture on the screen, but I can with my eyes because this microscope is... I'm going to have to turn the light up a bit. This microscope is so clear with... Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's rusty. That's what it is. It has titanium oxide all over it. That's why it feels rough. Okay. As long as titanium oxide isn't poisonous, Joseph will know. Joseph, am I in trouble from manhandling this? Probably not. So here's what we have to do. Let me show you. We take the piece of wire, and about 1/3 of the way down, it's about 2 inches long, I'm guessing, maybe 3. Bend it at a fairly acute angle like this. Bonk. Like so. So it's comes to a bit of a point. It depends, of course, on the size of your insect, but if you're going to go for something tiny like I am, go ahead and pinch it all the way closed. Like this. You can't see me doing it, but you will see the end result. Yeah, the reason you can't see me doing it is because I can't do it properly and I make a mess of it. There you go. That's what you want. Both of the strands together, side by side. Then bend the little one, the short one, out just a little bit, just enough for you to grab a hold of. And then the big one is your handle. Bend that one out and make a little loop in it. This is just what I do. You can do whatever you want. Of course, it's your wire. But this I have found to be the most useful arrangement when you're doing this. Okay, see that? It could be the letter A written by a flamboyant person who forgot the crossbar, but maybe I'm just being over imaginative. Let me get a fly going here and I'll show you how we do this. It's different than how I do beetles and weevils, where you're relying on springiness of the wire and the hook of the claw to grab the wire and pull them apart. That doesn't happen with Diptera because they don't have those hooky things. They're more spiky. So let me get back through the scope here. And let's pick something out at random, shall we? It's not really going to be random because I have to see it to grab it. There's a stingy thing ended up in there by mistake. I'm trying to find something with his legs scrunched up. Nah, not scrunched up enough. Mosquitoes are good, and crane flies are not good. Things with super long legs, they're just a pain because they flop all over the place. Look, that plant bug has already done the whole spread eagle for me. That looks like a little parasitic wasp that's, again, also got its legs fixed up for me. I might not be able to find one. Hang on. I'll tell you what, looking at just a plain white screen is probably even worse than looking at me looking into the jar of flies. Here's one. I did it with a what was it I found the other day? A lacewing. And that was very difficult because the lacewing also has lacy legs. Okay, here's something that's got scrunched up legs. Don't know what it is though. Yeah, it's a little hard to... Oh, it's a hoverfly. We'll use that. We'll use that. So grab it, and while it's still wet, drop it on its back, which you can't see, on the... you know, does anybody want to come work for me pressing the buttons during this episode thing so that I can do what I need to be doing, and you can just press the buttons when I act like I'm talking about something I'm not on at that moment. Yeah, I can't even describe what your job would be like, can I? Okay, I'm trying to get the light a little better. Well, let me try changing the shutter speed. I can't actually tell where the various controls are. Maybe if it was in focus that would help you appreciate the whole thing a bit better. There we go. And a bit zoomed in. So the idea is this one doesn't really have the best legs for it, but it'll do. So what we do is I like to get at the base of the insect so that its hind limbs are, let's zoom out a bit, so that its hind appendages are closest to me. And I like to use my right hand. So if you're right-handed, you want your right hand to be coming in at this kind of an angle, about 90 degrees to the axis of the bug. That may sound picky, but the way you've bent the wire... Oh, I've lost the wire. No, there it is. The way you bent the wire, it is going to naturally form that position when you hold it by the loop that I was telling you about right there. And this is important. It might sound very trivial, but it's important. Now I'm going to put a curve in it depending on the shape of the insect. Very subtle like that. And the idea is with the insect across the ways like this, and using my other hand to guide it, but don't grab or touch the eyes. What you want to do is put the points down at its shoulders. It doesn't really have shoulders, but you know what I mean. And then just feed this up through the appendages using the microscope. I will often use my fingertip, the nail, pressed into the paper, and once you get the first appendage, then you can start pushing the other ones on with your tweezers. I'm going to have to do this through the microscope. I can barely see that there's an insect there, but that means when I do it, you won't be able to see jack. Yeah, because that's how far I have to go. Yeah, that's the only way I can see where its legs are. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. It's missing an appendage on the left side. If you can't get to it from the bottom, just turn it around, put your finger down at the butt area, and do it from the top. This pin, this wire looks too big for this fly, but it's not. This is actually fine. Yeah. Okay. So the idea is you put the round part against the thorax and just gently push forward and down, and there you go. See how the feet, for want of a better word, slip up over the shaft of the no, you can't see that because it's out of focus. Sorry, I forgot that you couldn't see anything. I mean, one of us has got to see something. But yeah, what happens is the little claws will slide up onto the pin and hold it because of the coating on the titanium. Doesn't work with shiny pins, doesn't work with paper clips. But it works really well with, let me find a bigger one so that maybe you can see what I'm talking about. Alrighty, I don't know what this is. You know, I would like to go to Canada and find out what all in the world these bugs are. There's so many strange things in these bottles. Ah, look at this. This looks like another one of those robber fly things. I would probably choose to use a finer gauge wire than this. These are pretty small. Maybe I think this is about 28. I might want to use about a 32 or more. Yeah, smaller gauge. It's hard to get that curl at the top small enough. That's better. Okay, so we'll try one more time. Can you see? Yep. All right. So I'll use the tool to roll him on his back. He already is. And then with the pin flat, I'll slide it between those hind appendages, and then the top ones against my finger as a stop. And as soon as you get it through two of them, then all you have to do is swap fingers and then just ever so gently start to pull the wire apart. And what it'll do is, one at a time, it'll stretch the appendages apart, but in the right direction. Unlike if you did the thing with the paper clip, you'd be pulling them in the wrong direction and they'd just pop out of the body. But this seems to let them stay in. That was, I know that was pretty useless because you can't see, or I can't see, but hey, we keep trying. Let me give this one more go. Normally I'm not a real touchy person when it comes to positioning insects, but this is one time where the fingertip is better than any other tool. I should have got me a nice big blue bottle to show you. When they're still wet, they stay on their back a lot easier. Alright, so there, finally. Now let me get this in focus so you can see what I'm talking about. See, it automatically snags the legs on either side and they roll out over the pin like that. And now I can use either the tip of the tweezers. Normally this is what I use. I've got a little cup here, and that is the tool. Where is it? That is the tool that I will use to coax the other legs over the wire. You just use the very tip, I don't have any depth perception here, and you just lift it up over the wire, ever so gently pulling the wire apart as you go. And if you're able to get all 6 legs slightly spread apart, just leave it in the wire for about half an hour, and yeah, it'll stay there for forever, as long as you've got the fly. Its legs will be natural looking. Terrible example, I'm afraid, but yeah, at least we got them. You can see how the legs are starting to open when I pull that apart, and it gets easier and easier. Now, one last thing: if you're doing this, as you start to pull that wire apart with small flies, you'll tend to push it off the end of the pin. So every time you stretch the wire, go down either side of the wire with the tip of your tweezers and just coax the legs down to the part you've spread apart. I hope you can see what I'm doing there. It's basically going both sides and just ever so gently poking them down the 2 legs. Once you get the right amount of separation, you just reach in here with your pliers and bend the wire back to straight so that it keeps them that distance apart. And then just leave this for, I don't know, 10-20 minutes will be plenty. And those legs will be natural for the rest of the time you are photographing it. There you go. If you really, really, really want to know how to do stuff like that, make arrangements to come to Alabama for a Saturday and spend the day with me, and I will show you how to do this and all the other little nifty things that you have to do to position little insects. It's so worth it. It really is, because just a little trick like that makes your pictures stand out. If you can get their leg. Oh, that's a pretty looking thing on that fly. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing, don't I? Yeah. So what did I forget to tell you about? Sensor cleaning. I was supposed to do a sensor cleaning demo, and I will, but I've got to get my sensor cleaners. I ran out. I thought I had full frames but no APS-Cs, but I've got APS-Cs and no full frames. I don't know. Maybe I ate them in my sleep. They are tasty, but yeah, I don't have any, so I can't clean it with. I was going to use a sock or something, but I think we probably should do it right. So that'll be probably next time. I ordered them today, so as soon as they get in, my full frame sensor is just a shambles. It's nasty. I don't know what it's got on it, but there you go. So let me see. Did anybody learn anything from that? Probably not. You don't have to tell me. Titanium oxide is so harmless it's used in cosmetics. Joseph, that is a non sequitur. There's a lot of things they put in cosmetics that will melt your face off, I think. Oh, hang on. $5 macro rails question. Everything stops for these. I've never seen one before. Can I build you a little microcontroller connected to the internet that turns on a light and spins the propeller for each live donation? Yes, please. Yes, please, Mr. Macro Rails. That would be fantastic. Though, you know, I can do that just by pointing a light at it, but that would be great. Yeah, it is spectacular. It looks just brilliant, and I haven't even tried it in the car yet. Bruschetta. What's a bruschetta? That's that Italian food where they put tomatoes on a piece of toast. Yeah, delicious. I like a nice bruschetta. All right. Chris says most shots beyond 20x are so technically challenging that there's not much wiggle room for creative lighting or posing. Strong disagree. I would have totally been on board with that statement 2 weeks ago. But when I say that this has changed my approach to high magnification, that is what I mean. if I could tell you about things like working distance, I would maybe give examples like, I don't know, 20 millimeters, possibly. Yeah, 20 millimeters is a lot of room. It's mitutoyo areas of room. So yeah, it is historically doing anything above 20x was just honestly is a pain. And you make one teeny tiny mistake and or you're off axis just a fraction of a millimeter, and your subject wanders off the screen. I mean, it's really difficult. You have to pay attention to everything that you're doing. But I would disagree that there are some lenses out there that allow you to actually take back some creative control. You have to understand light, and because there isn't much of it when you're doing this. There isn't a whole lot of light that's getting back to that sensor. There's the problem of we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on Saturday. Said too much. Mauricio Garcia's here. Welcome, and glad you're here. Alistair points out that I have an invitation to the Discord site, and you absolutely need to join. If you are coming to the live things and tolerating me not having volume on my voice and all that, you definitely need to come to Discord, because the people over there are nice. Curly Toes will say hello to you, and he'll help you with whatever you're trying to do, which is fantastic. I won't do any of that. I just make my lips move. So go to Discord. It's a great place. It's the first place you need to go to ask questions. And then, if we can't get an answer, then, I'll go ask ChatGPT, and we're all good. So let me see. Oh dear, I'm not going to read that out loud. 63 times magnification seen in metallurgical scopes with a rotary stage. There you go. I mean, I did not mean to actually ask that as a question. I have a 63 times objective. It's not mine. I'm trying to get somebody interested enough to buy it. It only has a working distance of like a micron, so it's a bit hard to use. But yeah, I always wondered why 63. That's why. It's a sphere. There you go. And let me see. Buy more MF12s, consume your wallet, they shall. I always thought Joseph was probably, what is that, a hobbit talks like that? No, not a hobbit. You know what I'm talking about. No, it's the guy with the pointy ears in Star Wars. They're the same, right? They're both hobbits. I don't know. I don't keep up with that kind of thing. All right, same with oil immersion. 63x under oil, 50 in air. I did not know that. I've forgotten it already. It's that important to me. I don't know. Paul's hungry. He's brought up Bruchadet again, or I'm reading backwards, one or the other. So, Robbie, what do you mean there are lots? Do you have them? You have them out? You see them running around? You know, I see a tiger beetle, like I say, once a year if I just happen to be in the right place down by a river or a stream, and I'll see one dash across the path. And I'll know it's that because they're so beautiful in the sun. But I've never caught one. In all of my countless rambles with a net, I've never caught one. And I just emptied out this bottle and there were 6 of them in there. I thought, holy moly, I'd love to get a couple more of those babies, because I am photographing every square millimeter of the things. They are so interesting. Anyway, David asking me a question. Let me know if you want tiger beetles. Oh my goodness. I've got a few locations where I can see them every outings, usually a few dozen. Well, yes, absolutely. Do you live where Robbie does? Do you live in Nanus Bay, up in the Arctic Circle? That'd be interesting to find out. Where are all these tiger beetles? Because they're not down here. I would absolutely love to, if you have any spare tiger beetles, I would absolutely photograph the living heck out of them when they got down here. Do you want to see a picture of one? I took some pictures of tiger beetles. I know we're out of time, but I'm going to do this very, very quickly. You've probably already seen these. Yeah, I've got a couple of pictures that this is the mandible of a tiger beetle. This is one of Robbie's tiger beetles, and then I took a picture of its eyeball. Beautiful eyeball. Look at that. Look at all the detail in it. These are fantastic, but the colors, they don't even look natural. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What else did I photograph on that? An unsuccessful shot where the thing moved. But still, I kept the picture because of the beautiful colors. Amazing. So yeah, I would be absolutely all about some tiger beetles or things with eyeballs. They're fun too. I don't even know what that is. More eyeballs. Yeah. So computer chips are good too, though. These are all with that same lens. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Look, guys, we're out of time. It's 9:10, but I'll keep talking for the 10 minutes that I was talking in silence. Yeah, what else do we need to answer? Let me go back to the questions. Don't forget, Saturday, Lens Talk, 9 o'clock. We start at 8 o'clock. Then at 9 o'clock, you can join in anytime you want if you're a Patreoner. And then, then I'll tell you what I'm allowed to tell you. And there may be more I can tell you come the weekend, because I think they're getting close to launching it. I'm going to make a proper video for it, though, so everybody will eventually get to know everything I know about it. Let me see. You guys are really great to watch you interact. It's so refreshing to see a group of adults comparing notes and chatting. And I'd never said anything about the Fusion 360. If you don't know about this, if you're ever wanted to learn computer-aided drafting using Fusion 360, the Autodesk product, we have a volunteer instructor, actually two if you include Larry, who's agreed to come as a student, but will probably end up teaching us as well. This is a friend of Bud Perrett's. Josh is his name, and he came and talked to us at the Patreon a couple of weeks ago, and he is going to do a getting started, quick start guide to Fusion 360, which I just know is going to be fantastic. He's a very effective teacher. So if you want to come to that, you're welcome. All you've got to do is let me know, and so that I can tell you when it will be. And I talked to him this week, and I think we can expect to have a date announced sometime at the beginning of next week. Probably about when I send out my weekly reminders to you about what's going on. So I'm really excited about that. In fact, I'm so excited about it, I've pretty much learned Fusion 360 in the meantime, because I didn't want to seem like a technical buffoon. Not that that could ever happen, but there you go. Oh dear. All right, so this is wonderful that all you tiger beetle folks are popping out of the woodwork. Great. The green beetles are St. John's wort beetles. That I didn't know. They look quite unique. I've never seen that pattern of colors. They look brownish under the regular light, but under sunlight they sparkle, blue and green. Just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I have 3 small shiny green dead tiger beetles and a few other cool little finds, dried, not in alcohol. Oh, don't send them to me, my friend. I've got a bajillion of them, and I mean, not of tiger beetles. You can always send me a tiger beetle, but I've got loads of insects. I'll be working through what I've got just from Canada all year. Yeah, there you go. Take pictures of them. That's the best part. Take pictures of them. Arts and crafts with Allan. Yeah, it can seem that way. Titanium dioxide. It's white, isn't it? That's a very white salt. That's why they use it, because it makes things white. Could you use a black microscope stage for highlighting your subject? I could. I don't have a black piece of paper handy though. I use filter paper because it has to be absorbent. But I guess you can buy black filter paper. I don't know. That is my one of my dissection tools. In fact, I do probably 50% of my dissection with a round piece of filter paper to hold my bugs still. So this is actually one of my hands here. This piece of filter paper, and the second dissection tool is this. Oh, I just threw it on the floor. Hang on, let me get another one. Typical. I just threw half of them on the floor. So this is what I use to dissect most insects right out of alcohol. Is I use the point of a piece of white filter paper that I normally cut with sharper scissors than this. And all you have to do is just use it to ever so gently. You can't see it because the magnification's too high. There he is. I just use the very tip to move the appendages, to soak up any alcohol, and it gets them perfect. It'll comb the hair of a bee. It'll get dirt off a beetle. And the bigger it is, the hardier it is, the closer to the tip of the paper I will hold it with the tweezers. If you do this on a very delicate one, you can actually tear the insect with the paper because they're so delicate. But stick it under their chin and just hold it if you want to rapidly dry the whole upper half of the body. That is the quickest way to draw all that fluid off. I gotta go, guys. I'll be back on Thursday with the usual 10 minutes of silence followed by 50 minutes of apologizing. And yeah, you don't want to miss that. And then Saturday it's Presume. And yeah, I've got the Stuart Woods video of the interview coming out this week as well. And something else, but I can't remember because I'm too tired and my head's not working. So that's it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for tolerating my technical stuff, and I'm going to stick around to read the rest of the messages. If you see me staring at the screen, that's what's going on. But otherwise, I will see you on Thursday. Have a good evening. Thanks again, Robbie. Great Beatles.